Did you know Autism Speaks tortures people? Now that I have your attention, let me elaborate. Autistic people are persecuted due to something that they can't control. And unfortunately, Autism Speaks masquerades as an advocacy group when it is anything but. This causes people to donate to it because they think they are helping autistic people, even though they are doing nothing but adding to the harm they go through. We must raise awareness of this. You should not trust Autism Speaks because they don't treat people with autism like human beings. I have autism, and this makes that issue really close to my heart. If my mom had made a bad decision regarding autism advocacy groups, I could be dead. I have researched various articles on autism and Autism Speaks to help get a better grasp of it. First, I will explain the stigma that autistic people face. Second, I will outline how Autism Speaks perceives autism. And thirdly, I will explain the inhumane ways Autism Speaks treats autistic people. You should, wait, I already said that. Now I shall explain the stigma behind autism. Autistic people aren't treated like normal people. Here's a quote from Founders. In this view, attributing non-standard communication to autism requires intervening in notions of standard communications and how these notions function to exclude and stigmatize. Helen and Yurgau argue that autism itself is a rhetoric, and thus we are beholden to respond to it with cultural sensitivity, ethical care, and pedagogical complexity. And in this article by Underhill, Ledford, and Adams, college students with autism spectrum disorder face unique social barriers and are often stigmatized by their peers. Autistic people don't really have the same opportunities as normal people. Due to being nonverbal, they can't always get the same jobs as their peers. So now we understand the stigma behind autism. Let's look at Autism Speaks' perception of autism. Here, Autism Speaks sees autism as a disease to be cured. Here is a quote from an article by Hughes. Autism Speaks does not accept autistic people. They want to cure autism instead of helping those that have it cope. The autistic community believes that the way we think is just different. It does not need to be cured. The organization claims to have taken steps to accept autistic people, but they still use people-first language. Autism Speaks really doesn't have enough knowledge of autism. They have no autistic board members or employees, so how can they claim to have knowledge of autism? So now we understand the stigma of autism, and Autism Speaks' absolutely atrocious view of autism. Now, let me explain why you shouldn't trust Autism Speaks. Autism Speaks is inhuman. For instance, they promote stigmatization of autistic people, talks about murdering autistic children in front of said autistic children. Okay, so first off, I explained the stigma autistic people face, then I delineated how Autism Speaks perceives autism and autistic people. Finally, I made the case of why you shouldn't trust Autism Speaks, because they don't treat people like human beings. Autism Speaks is a truly atrocious organization. I hope you now know not to trust them. As an alternative, I recommend the Autism Self-Advocacy Network. It's run by autistic people, and so they are the real experts on autism. They care about autistic people. Thank you for your time.